Good evening. This is All India Radio. I'm Valsa Williams and with me is Abhineet Shukla with the evening news. The headlines. Prime Minister Narendra Modi to be on a two-day visit to Kerala and Karnataka beginning tomorrow to attend commissioning ceremony of India's first indigenously developed aircraft carrier INS Vikrant in Kochi on Friday. Home Minister Amit Shah to launch Central Armed Police Forces e-Awas web portal in New Delhi tomorrow. External Affairs Minister Dr. S. Jaishankar reaches Dubai to co-chair the India-UAE Joint Commission meeting and India-UAE Strategic Dialogue. Cap on domestic airfare prices removed from today after more than 2 years. Advertising agencies directed to ensure strict compliance with guidelines on surrogate advertisements. 10-day Ganesh festival begins with Ganesh Chaturthi today. India Met Department forecasts heavy rainfall in southern and northeastern India during next 5 days. Indian Cup football, Kerala Blasters beat Army Green 2-0 in a Group D fixture at Guwahati. Mohan Bagan beat Indian Navy 2-0 at Kolkata. And in Asia Cup cricket Group A match between India and Hong Kong underway in Dubai. Prime Minister Narendra Modi will be on a two-day visit to Kerala and Karnataka beginning tomorrow. The Prime Minister will visit the holy birthplace of Adi Shankaracharya at Kaladi village near Cochin Airport tomorrow evening. On Friday morning, he will attend the commissioning ceremony of the first indigenous aircraft carrier, INS Vikrant, at Cochin Shipyard Limited. The Prime Minister will also unveil the new naval ensign Nishan during the event, befitting the rich Indian maritime heritage, doing away with the colonial past. He will then proceed to Mangaluru. Our correspondent gives us details about the Prime Minister's Mangaluru visit.
During the visit of Prime Minister to Mangaluru, he will be laying the foundation stone for the integrated liquid petroleum gas and bulk liquid petroleum oil and lubricant facility at Mangalore Refinery and Petrochemicals Limited. Foundation will also be laid for the storage tanks and edible oil refinery, bitumen storage and allied facilities. He will later dedicate to the nation BS6 upgradation project and seawater desalination plant of Mangalore Refinery and Petrochemicals Limited. He will also lay the foundation stone for a fishing harbour at Kulai before leaving for New Delhi on the same day evening. Sudhindra, AIR News, Bengaluru.
Home and Cooperation Minister Amit Shah will launch the Central Armed Police Forces e-Awas web portal in New Delhi tomorrow. The Ministry of Home Affairs said increasing the housing satisfaction ratio for CAPF's personnel is one of the priority areas of the government. The ministry said in order to operationalize the revised policy of allotment and to also bring transparency to the allotment process, a common web portal, CAPF e-Awas, has been developed. The web portal will enable online registration and allotment of residential quarters to eligible personnel of CAPFs and Assam Rifles.
External Affairs Minister Dr. S. Jaishankar has reached Dubai on a three-day visit to United Arab Emirates. During his visit, he will co-chair the 14th India-UAE Joint Commission meeting and the 3rd India-UAE Strategic Dialogue with Foreign Ministers of UAE, Sheikh Abdullah bin Zayed Al Nahyan. Dr. Jaishankar will also meet other dignitaries of the UAE. The External Affairs Ministry said these meetings will provide an opportunity to review the entire spectrum of comprehensive strategic partnerships between India and the UAE. It said there has been a regular exchange of high-level interaction between India and UAE. Prime Minister Narendra Modi paid a visit to Abu Dhabi in June this year and met UAE President Sheikh Mohammed bin Zayed Al Nahyan. Both the leaders had also held a virtual summit in February this year, during which India-UAE Comprehensive Economic Partnership Agreement was signed. Both the leaders also participated in the I2U2 summit in July this year. The ministry said India and UAE are committed to moving forward in their partnership in diverse areas including trade, renewable energy, food security, health, defense, among others. More from our correspondent.
The bilateral relations between India and the UAE have strengthened in all sectors in recent years. Both sides have collaborated closely during the COVID-19 pandemic in critical areas of healthcare and food security. Bilateral trade, investment, and energy relations have remained robust between the two countries. Two sides are also strengthening their cooperation in new areas of renewable energy, startups, and fintech. The UAE is India's third largest trade partner. Around 35 lakh Indians live in the UAE and play a major role in the economic development of the UAE. Bhupendra Singh for AIR News.
India and France held consultations on the UN Security Council and other multilateral issues yesterday in Paris. Both the sides had an in-depth exchange of views on various thematic and country-specific issues on the agenda of the UN Security Council in keeping with the India-France strategic partnership. They agreed to strengthen their ongoing cooperation at UN on issues of mutual interest, including counterterrorism, UN peacekeeping and reformed multilateralism. Both the sides briefed each other about their priorities during France and India's upcoming presidencies of the UNSC.
The cap on domestic airfare prices has been removed from today after more than 2 years. It will give airlines the freedom to decide their fares. Earlier, Civil Aviation Minister Jyotiraditya Scindia had said the decision to remove airfare caps has been taken after careful analysis of daily demand and prices of air turbine fuel. The Ministry of Consumer Affairs, Food and Public Distribution has directed advertising agencies to ensure strict compliance with guidelines issued on surrogate advertisements. The Department of Consumer Affairs has also cautioned the advertisers' associations that compliance failure would lead to stern action against the violators. The guidelines clearly state that no surrogate advertisement or indirect advertisement shall be made for goods or services whose advertising is otherwise prohibited or restricted by law. Here is a desk report.
The Department of Consumer Affairs had noticed that the guidelines were not being strictly complied with by the concerned entities and the prohibited goods were still being advertised through surrogate goods and services. During the recent sports events that were televised globally, many instances of such surrogate advertisements were noticed. It has also been observed that many alcoholic spirits and beverages are being advertised under the garb of music CDs, club soda and packaged drinking water, whereas chewing tobacco and gutkha has taken the veil of fennel and cardamom. Besides, several instances of direct advertisement of alcoholic beverages on social media platforms were also observed by the department. Tanmay Kulshresht, News Desk.
The Union Cabinet has approved the proposal of the Environment, Forest and Climate Change Ministry for signing an MOU with the Government of Nepal on biodiversity conservation. It is aimed at strengthening and enhancing the coordination and cooperation in the field of forests, wildlife, environment, biodiversity conservation and climate change. Delhi BJP MPs have written to Lieutenant Governor V.K. Saxena demanding an inquiry into the allegation made by Aam Aadmi Party about BJP trying to poach its MLAs. They described the allegation as an attempt to divert public attention from irregularities in the implementation of excise policy and classroom construction in the national capital. Briefing media in New Delhi alongside his party MPs, BJP leader Manoj Tiwari said the claim by AAP MLAs that they received calls from BJP offering them money is a matter of forensic investigation. He alleged that AAP leaders are constantly changing their statements on the issue of Delhi excise policy.
इन बातों को हम बहुत गंभीरता से ले रहे हैं। दिल्ली के हम 7 सांसद इसका जवाब चाहते हैं और इसकी जब तक जांच नहीं होगी और जांच भी फॉरेंसिक होनी चाहिए। हम सभी ने माननीय एलजी महोदय को एक चिट्ठी लिखी, हम सब ने एक डिमांड करी है।
In Bihar, the Nitish Kumar government has removed Kartik Kumar as the law minister and allotted him the sugarcane industry department. Kumar is an MLC from RJD. Shami Mehmood of RJD has been made the new law minister. This comes just a day before Kartik Kumar is expected to appear in court in a kidnapping case with his interim protection from court against any coercive action ending tomorrow. Prime Minister Narendra Modi has expressed condolences to Congress President Sonia Gandhi on the passing away of her mother, Paula Maino. Mr. Modi said in this hour of grief his thoughts are with the entire family. Paula Maino died at her home in Italy on Saturday and her funeral took place on Sunday.
You are listening to the evening news on All India Radio. A reminder of the headlines before we move on. Prime Minister Narendra Modi to be on a 2-day visit to Kerala and Karnataka beginning tomorrow to attend commissioning ceremony of India's first indigenously developed aircraft carrier INS Vikrant in Kochi on Friday. Home Minister Amit Shah to launch Central Armed Police Forces e-Awas web portal in New Delhi tomorrow. External Affairs Minister Dr. S. Jaishankar reaches Dubai to co-chair the India-UAE Joint Commission meeting and India-UAE Strategic Dialogue. Cap on domestic airfare prices removed from today after more than 2 years. Advertising agencies directed to ensure strict compliance with guidelines on surrogate advertisements. 10-day Ganesh festival begins with Ganesh Chaturthi today. India Met Department forecasts heavy rainfall in southern and northeastern India during the next 5 days. In Durand Cup football, Kerala Blasters beat Army Green 2-0 in a Group D fixture at Guwahati. Mohan Bagan beat Indian Navy 2-0 at Kolkata. And in Asia Cup cricket, Group A match between India and Hong Kong underway in Dubai. For quick news updates round the clock, follow us on our Twitter handle at AIR News Alerts.
उपभोक्ताओं तक पहुंचने का सुलभ और सस्ता माध्यम है आकाशवाणी।
आकाशवाणी के विभिन्न केंद्रों से कीजिए अपने उत्पादों और सेवाओं का प्रचार विज्ञापनों के माध्यम से।
लोकल और राष्ट्रीय स्तर पर कीजिए अपने बिजनेस का विस्तार, क्योंकि आकाशवाणी में विज्ञापन बुकिंग हुई बहुत ही आसान।
अब घर, दफ्तर या दुकान पर बैठे बैठे आप कर सकते हैं विज्ञापनों की बुकिंग।
डायल कीजिए 870-001-4242।
नंबर एक बार फिर नोट करें, 870-001-4242।
Northeast Diary program, broadcast every Thursday and Sunday at 5:30 p.m. brings very interesting and enchanting stories from the 8 Indian states of Northeast India. Northeast Diary this week, that is the 1st of September 2022, brings an exclusive interview with Madhusudan Nath, bureaucrat and writer from Assam. Looking forward to see you there.
Welcome back to the evening news. The Finance Ministry has released an amount of over 4,189 crore rupees to 4 states as grants to rural local bodies. Of the total amount, over 2,239 crore rupees have been released for Uttar Pradesh, more than 708 crore rupees for Gujarat, over 628 crore rupees for Karnataka, 569 crore rupees for Andhra Pradesh, and over 44 crore rupees for Tripura. The grants are meant to ensure additional funds to rural local bodies for sanitation and drinking water under the centrally sponsored schemes. These are over and above the funds allocated by the centre and the state. The 15th Finance Commission had recommended to release tied grants to rural local bodies on the recommendations of the Department of Drinking Water and Sanitation for making improvements on 2 critical services. These are sanitation and maintenance of open defecation-free status and supply of drinking water, rainwater harvesting and water recycling. The ministry said total grant of over 15,705 crore rupees has been released to rural local bodies so far in 2022-23. The government has said that procurement of paddy under the central pool is progressing smoothly in Kharif marketing season in various procuring states. The Ministry of Consumer Affairs, Food and Public Distribution said so far a quantity of nearly 881 lakh metric tons of paddy has been procured. It has benefited more than 1 crore 30 lakh farmers with an MSP value of over 1,72,000 crore rupees. In the case of procurement of wheat, a quantity of nearly 188 lakh metric tons of wheat has been procured so far during Rabi marketing season 2022-23. A total of 17,83,000 farmers have benefited with an MSP value of around 37,866 crore rupees.
The gross domestic product GDP of the country for the April to June quarter Q1 of the current financial year grew at 13.5%. According to the provisional estimates by the Ministry of Statistics and Programme Implementation released today, agriculture, forestry and fishing sector rose 4.5% in the first quarter of this fiscal. The manufacturing sector grew 4.8% and the construction sector appreciated by 16.8%. The GDP of the country witnessed a growth of 20.1% in the first quarter of 2021-22 fiscal. Union Minister for Education Dharmendra Pradhan held a bilateral meeting with Minister of Higher Education, Science and Innovation of South Africa, Dr. Bongeng Kosey Emmanuel Daden Zimande at Bali in Indonesia. Both the ministers had fruitful discussions on strengthening the academic and skill development partnerships and bilateral education cooperation. They agreed to develop institutional mechanisms for tie-ups between higher education institutions and skill institutions, mutual recognition of skill qualifications and capacity building in skill development. Both the ministers also decided to set up a joint working group on education between the two countries to further extend the cooperation and to realize the full potential of bilateral cooperation in education. Mr. Pradhan said, the introduction of the National Education Policy has paved the way for internationalization of Indian education. He added that India and South Africa's relations are close and friendly and are rooted in shared values and interests.
Senior Indian Information Service Officer Dr. Vasudha Gupta has been appointed as Director General of the News Services Division of All India Radio today. Dr. Vasudha Gupta will assume charge tomorrow. Principal DG News Services Division and DG AIR N. Venudhar Reddy superannuated today. A 1989 batch officer, Dr. Vasudha Gupta, has served in various capacities in the R&B Ministry during over 32-year-long career. Before her appointment as DG News Services Division of All India Radio, she was serving as DG Press Information Bureau. During her stint at PIB, she played an instrumental role in devising and implementing information dissemination products during the challenging period of the COVID pandemic. She is credited with leading important initiative of developing a feedback dashboard for the Government of India across various media platforms, as also establishing fact-check system for the government. A PhD in finance from the Indian Institute of Technology, Delhi, Dr. Vasudha Gupta helped in the introduction of social media platforms in regional languages through AIR while she was posted as ADG in AIR News. N. Venudhar Reddy, a 1988 batch IIS officer who retired today as Principal Director General, had worked in various capacities in his around 34-year-long career. Earlier, he served as Joint Secretary in the Department of Investment and Public Asset Management. The festival of Ganesh Chaturthi, marking the birth of Lord Ganesh, is being celebrated across the country today with great devotion. The day also marks the beginning of a 10-day-long Ganeshotsav, the most popular and favorite festival of Maharashtra. During the festival, people from different sections of society worship Lord Ganesh, the symbol of wisdom, prosperity and good fortune. On this day, people bring new idols of Ganesh and worship him for 10 days and immerse the idol in a pond, river, sea or a local water body. President Draupadi Murmu, Vice President Jagdeep Dhankar and Prime Minister Narendra Modi have greeted the people on the occasion of Ganesh Chaturthi.
Over the past 75 years since independence, India's largest public service broadcaster, All India Radio, has been the proverbial storyteller for the 1.3 billion citizens across the country. All India Radio is celebrating 75 years of freedom with the series Azad Bharat Ki Baat, Akashvani ke Saath. It showcases the journey of India since independence in various walks of life through the storytelling of All India Radio.
Azad Bharat Ki Baat, Akashvani ke Saath. Reliving the journey of India since independence over the last 75 years with All India Radio. From 15th August, the series is being broadcast on All India Radio, 100.1 FM Gold Channel, primetime news bulletins and across all its platforms. Tune in to stay updated with All India Radio.
In today's episode, we bring you the story of the formation of BJP governments at the centre.
Bharatiya Jana Sangh is formed in the year 1951 with Dr. Shyama Prasad Mukherjee as the president. Its driving force is national approach to all issues rising above caste and religion. In 1977, Bharatiya Jana Sangh merges into Janata Party along with other parties. In 1980, due to differences with Janata Party, members of the erstwhile Jana Sangh come out and form Bharatiya Janata Party with Atal Bihari Vajpayee as its founder president. In the 1989 general elections, BJP wins 85 seats and supports Janata Dal government with VP Singh as the Prime Minister. In 1991 general elections, BJP wins 120 seats. In 1996, BJP wins 161 Lok Sabha seats and emerges as the single largest party in parliament. Atal Bihari Vajpayee is sworn in as the Prime Minister, but government resigns after 13 days as it fails to get majority.
हम भी अपने ढंग से देश की सेवा कर रहे हैं और अगर हम देशभक्त न होते और अगर हम निस्वार्थ भाव से राजनीति में अपना स्थान बनाने का प्रयास न करते और हमारे इन प्रयासों के पीछे 40 साल की साधना है। ये कोई आकस्मिक जनादेश नहीं है, कोई चमत्कार नहीं हुआ है। हमने मेहनत की, हम लोगों में गए, हमने संघर्ष किया है। पार्टी 365 दिन चलने वाली पार्टी है। ये कोई चुनाव में कुकर मुक्के की तरह से खड़ी होने वाली पार्टी नहीं है। आज हमें अकारण कटघरे में खड़ा किया जा रहा है क्योंकि हम थोड़ी ज्यादा सीटें नहीं ले सके। हम मानते हैं हमारी कमजोरी है, हमें बहुमत मिलना चाहिए। राष्ट्रपति ने हमें अवसर दिया, हमने उसका लाभ उठाने की कोशिश की है, हमें सफलता नहीं मिली, वो अलग बात है। लेकिन हम फिर भी सदन में सबसे बड़े विरोधी दल के रूप में बैठेंगे और आपको हमारा सहयोग लेकर सदन चलाना पड़ेगा, इस बात को मत भूलिए।
In 1998, BJP forms a coalition government under the banner of National Democratic Alliance, with Atal Bihari Vajpayee as the Prime Minister. But this government falls in 1 year. In 1999, Atal Bihari Vajpayee becomes the Prime Minister for the third time, and the BJP alliance completes its full term of 5 years. In the 16th Lok Sabha elections in 2014, BJP-led NDA under the leadership of Narendra Modi sweeps to power. BJP becomes the first party in over 30 years to secure majority in the Lok Sabha on its own with 282 seats.
समाज की आखिरी पंक्ति में खड़े आखिरी व्यक्ति तक सरकारी लाभ पहुंचे, ये सुनिश्चित करना, यही तो है सबका साथ सबका विकास। जब सरकारी मशीनरी का लक्ष्य हर पात्र व्यक्ति तक पहुंचने का तो फिर पक्षपात भेदभाव टिक ही नहीं सकता। इसलिए हमारा ये सेवा भाव अभियान सोशल जस्टिस, सामाजिक न्याय का बहुत बड़ा माध्यम है।
In 2019, in the 17th general elections, under the leadership of Prime Minister Narendra Modi, BJP scripts history by winning 303 seats on its own.
हमारे देश में दशकों तक कुछ राजनीतिक दलों ने सिर्फ वोट बैंक की राजनीति की। कुछ लोगों को ही वायदे करो, ज्यादातर लोगों को तरसा कर रखो। भेदभाव, भ्रष्टाचार, ये सब वोट बैंक की राजनीति का साइड इफेक्ट था। लेकिन भाजपा ने इस वोट बैंक की राजनीति को न सिर्फ टक्कर दी है, बल्कि इसके नुकसान देशवासियों को समझाने में भी सफल रही।
आजाद भारत की बात आकाशवाणी के साथ can be accessed on @AIR News Alerts on Twitter, News on AIR official YouTube channel, News on AIR app, Facebook and Instagram handles. So tune into All India Radio News for Azad Bharat Ki Baat, Akashvani ke saath.
Moving on, Punjab Chief Minister Bhagwant Mann today ordered a probe into the desecration and fire incident in a church at village Thakarpura in Tarantaran district. He said this is a highly condemnable incident and severe action must be taken against the perpetrators of this heinous crime. The incident occurred 2 days after a group of Nihangs and their nearly 150 supporters disrupted an event organized by Christian missionaries at Daduna village in Amritsar. They were opposing the conversion of Sikhs to Christianity. They were booked under various sections of the IPC on Monday on the complaint of local Christian leader Pastor Raja. Former Soviet leader Mikhail Gorbachev passed away at the age of 91 in a hospital in Moscow. According to media reports, he was admitted in hospital in June this year for kidney ailment. However, the cause of his death has not been announced. He will be buried in Moscow's Novodevichy cemetery next to his wife Raisa. Gorbachev became the General Secretary of the Soviet Communist Party and de facto leader of the country in 1985. He was the youngest member of the ruling council known as the Politburo. He is also known for opening up the then USSR to the world and introducing a set of reforms at home. We have a report on his career as a global leader.
After decades of Cold War tension, Gorbachev brought the Soviet Union closer to the West than at any point since the World War II. In fact, Gorbachev's policies of glasnost and perestroika diffused the soaring tension of the Cold War. Glasnost encouraged Russians and Eastern Europeans to speak out against communism, whereas perestroika was an attempt to modernize and rebuild the Soviet state. Gorbachev won the Nobel Peace Prize for negotiating a historic nuclear arms pact with US leader Ronald Reagan, and his decision to withhold the Soviet army when the Berlin Wall fell a year earlier was seen as key to preserving the Cold War peace. After his demise, the world has lost an unparalleled preacher of peace.
World leaders, including UN Chief Antonio Guterres, Russian President Vladimir Putin, US President Joe Biden, and European Union President Ursula von der Leyen, have paid tributes to the departed leader.
India has approved an MOU with the government of Nepal on biodiversity conservation as proposed by the Ministry of Environment, Forest and Climate Change. The MOU aims to strengthen and enhance coordination and cooperation in the field of forests, biodiversity conservation and climate change. It also aims at including the restoration of corridors and interlinking areas and sharing of knowledge and best practices between the two countries. The MOU is expected to help in promoting cooperation between the parties in the field of forest, wildlife, environment, biodiversity conservation and climate change, including restoration of corridors and interlinking areas and sharing knowledge and best practices. The World Bank has hailed India's whole-of-government approach to stimulate production during the corona pandemic. It said India adopted a whole-of-government approach to stimulate local production that helped reduce unit prices and the dependency on global supplies during the COVID-19 pandemic. It said no compromises were made on quality in the largest procurement exercise conducted by the government. The World Bank report takes a close look at the initiatives taken by the Centre to ensure a sustained supply of essential medical commodities during the critical initial phase of the pandemic, including efforts to develop the local market following a whole-of-government approach. The report lists certain global experiences and summarizes the procurement innovations undertaken by the Centre, including its efforts to develop the domestic market for essential COVID commodities and life-saving equipment.
On to sports, Endurance Cup football, ATK Mohan Bagan defeated Indian Navy in Group B match by 2-0 at the Kishore Bharti Kridangan. Earlier, Kerala Blasters beat Army Green in a Group D fixture 2-0 at the Indira Gandhi Athletic Stadium in Guwahati. In Asia Cup cricket, India were 146 for 2 in 17.3 overs against Hong Kong at Dubai International Cricket Stadium when reports last came in. Earlier, Hong Kong won the toss and elected to field. In the Japan Open Badminton, India's ace shuttler Kidambi Shrikant defeated Lee Zijia in straight games 22-20 and 23-21 to reach the quarterfinals. However, it was a setback for Lakshya Sen, who lost to Kenta Nishimoto of Japan in a tough three-setter by 21-18, 14-21, 13-21. Saina Nehwal also went down in straight games to Akane Yamaguchi to suffer an early exit.
The India Meteorological Department has forecast heavy rainfall in southern and northeastern India during the next 5 days. IMD DG Mrityunjay Mohapatra said South Peninsular India, Bihar, Sub-Himalayan West Bengal, Sikkim and Northeast India are likely to experience heavy rain in the coming days.
आज की स्थिति यही है कि मानसून ट्रॉप कोटिल्स के आसपास रन हो रहा है। इसके प्रभाव में नॉर्थ ईस्ट इंडिया में नेक्स्ट 5 डेज में बारिश होने के साथ साथ कुछ इलाके में हेवी टू वेरी हेवी रेनफॉल होने का पूर्वानुमान है। ऐसे ही साउथ ईस्ट पेनिनसुला में भी बारिश होने का उम्मीद किया जा रहा है, क्योंकि वहाँ एक साइक्लोनिक सर्कुलेशन है, जिसकी वजह से सदर्न पार्ट्स ऑफ कर्नाटक, केरला, तमिलनाडु में आइसोलेटेड प्लेसेस में हेवी टू वेरी हेवी रेनफॉल हो सकता है नेक्स्ट 5 डेज में।
A quick look at the weather forecast for tomorrow. National capital Delhi expected to have a generally cloudy sky. Mumbai is likely to have a generally cloudy sky with light rain. Kolkata is expected to have a generally cloudy sky with light rain too. Chennai will have thunderstorm with rain. And now, before we end the bulletin, the headlines once again. Prime Minister Narendra Modi to be on a 2-day visit to Kerala and Karnataka beginning tomorrow to attend commissioning ceremony of India's first indigenously developed aircraft carrier INS Vikrant in Kochi on Friday. Home Minister Amit Shah to launch Central Armed Police Forces e-Awas web portal in New Delhi tomorrow. External Affairs Minister Dr. S. Jaishankar reaches Dubai to co-chair the India-UAE Joint Commission meeting and India-UAE Strategic Dialogue. Cap on domestic airfare prices removed from today after more than 2 years. Advertising agencies directed to ensure strict compliance with guidelines on surrogate advertisements. 10-day Ganesh festival begins with Ganesh Chaturthi today. India Met Department forecast heavy rainfall in southern and northeastern India during next 5 days. In Endurance Cup football, Kerala Blasters beat Army green 2-0 in a Group D fixture at Guwahati. Mohan Bagan beat Indian Navy 2-0 at Kolkata. And an Asia Cup Cricket Group A match between India and Hong Kong underway in Dubai. And with that, we end the evening news. Good night.